What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk about something that I did earlier today. Today I closed a billionaire inventor. His name is Robert Fischell. How did I do that? Because my mentor, who's Steve Adler, who's a business partner with Obama, he's also business partners with Ben Carson, the other guy who ran for president. He introduced me to him. Why? Well, I want to talk about something that's a little bit unrelated to running an agency, but still related. It has to do with human relations, and I see so many people who get this wrong. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. That's how ridiculous it is. Look, if you want people to do things for you, do not think about yourself. Think about what you can do for them. I'm going to go on a tangent for a second here to illustrate a point, but I have so many people who hit me up all the time asking me for consulting, asking me for advice, talking in their own interest. People who are competitors to me hitting me up, asking me for advice without giving me a reason and speaking in my interest about why I should do that for them. Look, if you say, hey, Tristan, I'd really like some help, and I think you would be a perfect person to help me. I really want to close some more restaurants. I'd really appreciate if you could respond to me and help me get more clients. Literally, that's what a lot of the message I get sound like. And if you have any emotional intelligence, when you heard me just say that, you know exactly what's wrong with that. You know what's wrong with it? They only talked in their own interest. I get a million people hitting me up every day asking me for shit. Asking me for something. Look, you gotta talk in other people's interests if you want them to do something for you. And you have to humble yourself. There's a couple different principles. One, if someone is above you, treat them like they're above you. Look, if someone already feels like they're above you, treat them like they're above you. When I sat down with the billionaire, do you think I said that, I'm an amazing consultant? And look, in this case, because I'm dealing with a billionaire, and he has every right, he's a billionaire inventor. This is the guy who invented the rechargeable battery. He invented heart stents. And what I'm marketing for him is a cereal bowl that prevents the cereal from getting soggy. The guy's name is Robert Fischell. Google him. That is who I closed today. Look, when I sat down with him, do you think that I was that I was talking about myself when I was sitting down with him? Hell no. You know what I was saying to him? I was saying, Dr. Robert, it really sounds like you're a modern day Thomas Edison. You mind if I ask you, what motivated you to create all these inventions? What motivated you to change the world? Is that what it was? You were, looking to change the world and leave behind a legacy? Those are the type of questions I was asking him. I wasn't talking about, Robert, I would really like this and talking about myself. No. You do not win people over by talking about yourself. Primarily. That's not how you win people over. So that brings me to principle number 2. Talk in other people's interests. I ask him questions like, what motivated you to invent this in the first place? What motivated you to, ask me to come out here? Those are the type of questions I asked. Right? What motivated you to, go ahead and create this product in the first place? Those are the type of questions you ask when you're sitting down with a prospect, or sitting down with a client in general, or even trying to get someone to do anything for you. No one will ever do anything for you unless you talk in their interest. If someone messaged me like this and said, hey, Tristan, I see that you're amazing at closing deals with businesses. I've watched your videos and your stuff is amazing. Look, I know you get a million people who hit you up all the time asking you for stuff. And I don't want to be one of those people, but honestly, I need help. Is there any way I could give you a percentage of the deals I close, or even work for you for free, which is really ideal, work for you for free in exchange for you to teach me something about sales? I'd say great, fantastic. In fact, the salesperson I'm working with right now is working for free in exchange for learning sales. And shit, I would work for someone for 4 months in order to learn like what they're doing. Now this brings me back to my other point. So how did I meet this mentor in the first place? How did I meet this guy in the first place? And how was I able to go ahead and do this? Well, I met him through a mutual connection. Someone he's already mentoring. I spoke with him, and he asked me to see if I wanted to help promote this charity event. Right? So I said, okay, sure. Principle number 1 or number 5, whatever. Openness, right? I was open to the opportunity, right? I was open to just following along, to listening, right? I sat down and I listened to him. I heard him out. I listened. I gave him some of my time, right? Sure, okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and have him contact me. So then he went ahead and contacted me and asked me to sit down with him to discuss promoting the charity event. Sure, absolutely. I'll sit down with you. And then I sat down with him, and when I did, I listened to him. And I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. I can help you do that. Come to the show and help you set up the fashion show for charity? Absolutely, I'll come do that. Listening, asking him good questions, hearing him out. Not being full of myself. Asking him intelligent questions. Like I was sitting in the car with him today on my way to Robert's house, because he drove me from his house to Robert's house, his mansion to Robert's mansion. So when I was sitting in the car, I was like, Steve, I have a question, and I know that you're, I understand if you don't want to answer this, because I'm sure people ask you for business advice all the time, and I don't want to ask you for something for free if it's not something you're willing to do. And I'm saying I know he'd give me the advice anyway, because we're like that. But I still word it like that, right? Because I don't want him to feel like I'm a leech. So I say to him, Steve, I'm having this problem. I'm closing all these clients. I've closed so many clients, but I'm having trouble hiring a good salesperson. And I am literally closing so many clients, but I've also lost, a good amount of clients. I would probably be at $1 million in revenue if I hadn't lost all the clients, that I have. And I talked to him more about this problem, because that is a problem. That's part of the learning curve, part of the, part that I'm learning about. And he gives me some advice, on how to do that. But I pre-framed that question with, look, I know you get advice like this all the time, right? Another thing that I said to him is, as we were leaving Robert's house, I say to him, I'm sure, I say, I'm sure people like you and people like Robert, have a very hard time, making friends or bringing new people into your lives because, everybody wants to leech off of you. And I kind of see that, and I don't want that to be our relationship. I don't want to be one of those people in your life. So, I know because he's asked me in the past, he said things to me like, I want to talk about your business. Let's set up a time to talk about your business. And I haven't really been serious about taking him up on that offer. He has hundreds of millions of dollars. So I don't want to be one of those people in his life. So just being emotionally intelligent, that's the biggest thing, right? As I was leaving the house, I said, I bet for someone like you and someone like Robert, it's hard for you guys to, it's hard for you guys to spend a lot of your time with something, kind of stupid like this, selling cereal bowls, especially when you're thinking so big. right? So I'm being relatable. I'm putting myself on his level. That's called recognizing their reality. You have to recognize people's reality. Get out of your own head and start thinking in other people's interests. Start thinking what is in this person's head. You will close so many more deals. You gotta put yourself in other people's position. Let me give you another practical example. When I call a business owner, I say, look, like that a prospect that I'm trying to schedule meetings with, I say, look, I know you get a million calls like this all the time, and I also know you're busy and you're in the middle of something, so can I be really quick and tell you why I'm calling? And they say yes, because I'm recognizing their reality. That's what that's called. That's called recognizing their reality. Get out of their own head and genuinely start thinking in other people's interests. The quickest way to do this is read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book will change your life. You need to read that book if you haven't already read that book. You need to read that book because it will put you in the perspective of that other person. Once you start thinking in terms of what other people are thinking, you will win in your life so much more because you will get out of your own head. And when you're conversating with people, you will start to think, what is this person's reality? What does this person think about what I'm going to request of them? How can I be different from every other leech who tries to attach themselves in their lives? Because let me tell you, the way I've been able to be super close friends with people like Caleb Maddox, Casey Adams is one of my really good friends. JR Garage is now, becoming one of my really good friends. I drove home with him in New York City. And when we're driving home, I'm talking to JR. I drove him from Maryland, from New York, from an event we went to down to Maryland. And I say, Jeff, I know it's probably hard for you to meet new people and meet new friends because you literally have a million people leeching off of you. And I want to let you know that that's not the relationship that I want to have with you. I know you have a million people treating you like you're a god or celebrity because you have all these, YouTube followers. And I know you're probably sick of that and you don't really like that. So that's another thing. Treating people who are in power like regular people. Do not treat them like they're some god. Like, you just look like a fan, so they're going to treat you like a fan. They're going to treat you how you act towards them. That's another thing that he talks about in How to Win Friends and Influence People. Study human relations. Study how to relate to people. Provide people with value. When Steve walked into the billionaire Robert Fischell's house, he walks, the first thing he does, because he recognizes reality, he provides him with value. He's talking about this medication he's inventing right now that cures pain, and Steve says to him, "Oh yeah, my brother-in-law is a podiatrist, which is a type of doctor, and he owns a bunch of offices." And you know what he does? He immediately pulls out his phone, calls his sister, and asks him if his brother-in-law is working, and immediately tries to set up a meeting and tries to help him secure a meeting with his brother-in-law, with his brother-in-law, who's a podiatrist, because Robert is inventing a medication right now, and that medication obviously has to be sold by doctors. So he immediately tries to provide him with value. Immediately. Look. So that's another thing, providing value. Look, that is so many of you guys' biggest problems. If you're an amateur entrepreneur, that is one of your biggest problems. Emotional intelligence. That's been the distinguishing factor between why I'm really close friends. I don't mean to sound cocky because this is going to sound cocky. But there's so many people who talks to, Casey and Kieran, and because I'm sure some of you guys know them, and you guys go ahead and you talk to them, you take photos with them and stuff like that, but you're not actually friends with them. You see them at events and it's like, "What's up, homie?" But then they walk away. They walk away. You're not close with them. You wouldn't sit down and work with them. I shared a hotel with them. I slept in the same room with them. I went to the gym with them. We ate breakfast together. Caleb Maddox at his events, bro. Literally, there's 1,000 people at an event, and Caleb Maddox Maddox texts my phone. This is the second time this was the fourth time I had hung out with Caleb at an event. Caleb texts my phone, where are you trying to go for lunch? The next day, where are you trying to go for lunch? 2 days in a row, me and him, just me and him are eating lunch together. We're hanging out for a couple hours. Everybody else, it's just like a fan. He daps him up. He takes pictures with him. He talks to him. They get him on recording, but they treat him like he's like a I don't know, like he's statue or something. It's like when you go into a store and you see a picture of Obama. You've ever gone in the stores where there's a new president and they have a cutout of that person in the store and they just take a picture with a cutout and they walk away. That's how most people treat people who were in power. But that's not how you develop real relationships with them. You develop real relationships by treating them like real people. I know that's kind of crazy, but most of you guys comment on their pictures and have their dicks in your mouth. I'm sorry, but that is the difference between someone who develops a real relationship with someone and someone who just becomes a dick rider or a fan. That's the big difference. That's why I'm able to have these friends in super high powers. Bro, I have so many friends who have millions and millions and millions of dollars that I'm just chilling with because I provide them with value. I ask questions in their interest. I don't try and leech off of them, bro. I don't ask for anything from them. I just try and give them things. It's a law of reciprocation. If you want something, you have to give. I'm stressing this point so much because literally, if you're a young entrepreneur, that is your biggest problem. I see it all over the place. It's your ego is so damn big, even though you're not even on that person's level, that you can't get out of your own head. You can't get out of your own head. I'm really trying to hone in this point because it's such a huge problem. And if you want to develop friendships with people in high power, that's what you need to do. So many people, man, so many people. I literally attract powerful people into my life right now. And it sounds like I'm bragging again, but I'm really trying to emphasize this point, really trying to emphasize it. So you listen to me, right? Matt Maddox and Caleb Maddox invited me to their private retreat for free. Everyone else at that retreat had to pay, except for me, because I provided them with value. I gave them $200,000 worth of courses for free. I didn't ask them for any money because the relationship is more valuable than money, right? So that's the deal. That's how you win friends. That's what you do. That's how you win friends. Providing them with value. You should charge powerful people less money than you charge non-powerful people. People who hit me up for consulting, who are killing it in the agency business or when I have a conversation, absolutely. I'll schedule a meeting with you. People who haven't done shit, I'm not going to schedule a meeting. I'm going to make them pay to meet with me. Because one person provides a lot of value to me by their presence. Other person provides no value to me by their presence. That's the difference. Be a presence that provides value. And be emotionally intelligent. That's your human relations education for the day. Anyway, guys, read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I hope that was valuable. It's pretty surreal. To be worried. I mean, he's literally, you Google him, the first picture that pops up is a picture of Obama giving him a Nobel, I think it's the Nobel Peace Prize or something like that. It's he's like the modern day Thomas Edison that I was able to close today. And that's my tip for you. If you want to close a billionaire, that's how you do it. You get introduced by someone else and you provide value to that person. You provide a lot of value to them. People who are in high power, who are older, because my mentor, he's 65 years old, who are older, they want to take someone under their wing. They desperately want that. They want to talk and give their knowledge and do what I'm doing doing what I'm doing to you to the camera. Just spilling knowledge with someone who's genuinely going to listen and take into account what they're saying. They love that. It feeds their ego. This is feeding my ego right now. Honestly, that's the reality. That's the truth of it. It's not like a pretty thing, but I'm being honest with you. That's what it is. That's what you're doing when you're listening to people. You're having them filling their ego is what you're doing, for lack of a better way to describe it. So I hope that was valuable. That's how you close a $1 billion client. Tristan Vision out. I'll see you guys soon.